Welcome. Hope you're having a good day. So today we will specifically discuss on how we could transition from being a software test engineer to someone who's more futuristic with AI skills added on to you. We will talk about how to get there, what all you need to do, what all you need to learn, and we will also try and understand how the market is going to look. Very important that we visualize that and understand exactly what to do, because none of us have enough time to learn all the tools, all the solutions, be it in software test automation, tools that we use in manual testing or at the general agile program level, to what all we're seeing coming every day into the market with the advent of artificial intelligence. For the last 4 or 5 years, I have personally been working for a large corporate organizations in the US. And my typical title or role is an enterprise architect who constantly looks at what is happening in the space within test automation, also being what are the new solutions that we can bring or improve existing test automation frameworks and the way we work in an overall product engineering model. There's a constant research that I do, and that helps me to identify what is really happening in the market and to be well aware. Initially, maybe about an year or so back, it was much more confusing in 2023, where we didn't know which direction we're going to go, what's going to play up, especially with AI. But now, with the overall adoption that is happening at a global scale across various industries, it becomes absolutely imperative that you need to upgrade your skill. So I've put down a list of few items that we will go through. We'll not do anything extended, but whatever we'll talk about, we'll try and at least have some notes of it so we can understand where we are. The video, the documentation that you see everything that we're doing in these live sessions which you've joined, at least the few initial videos will go to the YouTube channel, but everything will be on our itlearn.com. I will also show you some of these other content that you must watch to be able to get there. So let's get going, team. So we are talking futuristic. We're talking about not what we could do in the next 2-3 months to get an easy career break or just keep ourselves in the race of the IT world. Things are changing, team. Things are changing very, very rapidly. And there's a big calling from orgs. When I say orgs, I don't mean just the technology organizations, but in general, the leadership, the ownership who are looking at corporates and what advantages they can take. Within quality, when I say quality or QA or QE, I kind of refer to the same thing. We're talking about quality assurance, quality engineering, software test automation, titles like SDETs, people who are not only good at testing in general, but also very good at technology from test automation perspective. So even if you're a domain level tester or a very specifically focused tester, it is all under the quality umbrella team. So in general, quality is forever. It's not going to be something that will disappear. But how we arrive at giving that confidence to the end user, to where we deploy these applications that we build, that is going to change. And that is changing because of few specific criteria, team. The expectations. So calling means primarily what is it that this from, I wouldn't say just orgs and I'll say IT teams. Since we are specifically into the software side of the entire global community of things we do, and within that, we are in the quality assurance side. Um, this has always been the case. The things that they're expecting is for things to be faster, not just in creation, but also um, in adoption. So they want faster creation, they want faster adoption, they want faster release cycles. When I say this is the expectation that is coming constantly as um, what we need to do. As the world is slowly starting to believe and trust in what might come as AI solutions, that fear factor, the jitteriness which was there of few months ago or a year ago, is slowly waning down into more manageable and organized AI coming into the organizations. So speed is very critical, team. Speed is something that is very important. So anything that we do will be looked at from a speed perspective. Are we able to test and release faster into the market? So that is very critical. At the same time, I need to be more accurate. I cannot release whatever we want. Are they well quality tested, and do our solutions work the way they're supposed to? So, and when it comes to accuracy, team, it is also building that trust and confidence. So if I, if anyone who's been in the software industry or testing specifically for last 15 plus years, you know that we have slowly migrated from doing a lot of manual towards a lot automated. So which basically means that your accuracy or the trust and confidence that we have is slowly increasing. With AI coming in, that is going to grow up significantly, team. I'm sorry. Other thing is human dependency. So we're talking about job markets, we're talking about AI system solutions, these bots, software robots that we build will replace us if we don't adapt and learn quickly, is there. But at the end of it, they want an autonomous solutions where there is little human intervention. For everything, if a human is required, you are slowing down the whole process. You're adding layers of more administration that's going in, and that is one area where there is a lot of efficiency that gets improved, team. So when we say efficiency, it is not just about people being more productive, it is also using fewer resources. And in today's world of cloud and how we deploy applications, there is cost associated with every step we take. We purchase SaaS solutions like software as a service. We have license fees. We have infrastructure or hardware, even if it is on premise, though which you own and manage within your own network, uh, all the way to cloud deployed. There would be access charges, there would be storage charges, so many features that are coming. So we need to use fewer resources to be able to achieve the same task. Those become the expectations. So especially with the quality test engineers, this would be uh, at the top of it. And one second, and then finally better products, solutions at the end. So we're talking UI, UX, user experience, user interface, and how it is important to bring up more defect free. So what we did in previous career paths, we need to focus on these 5 things to be able to constantly improve. And So if we are a QA engineer, summary, or in software test automation, you're expected to be deploying things faster, bringing in new solution script automation. They need to be accurate. The expectation is also that we do not need too much of human dependence. There's a lot of independent actions happening. So autonomy is there. There's some rules, guidelines which are followed, and then everything is taken care according to that. Efficiency is key. How we use people, fewer resources, uh, cost, speed I've already mentioned, but it is again important because under efficiency, speed comes as well. At the end of it, if there is a certain metric which says that this is, let's say, a 85% scorecard for a given product, any product that we are releasing, as soon as the requirements are done by the BA, once we have transitioned that into good documentation, there is a design, there is a development happening. With shift left testing, we're doing a lot of pre-preparation and pre-testing and getting ready, and trying to work in parallel with the dev teams, with the overall agile team. And it's like a one team, one org kind of concepts that are flowing much more heavier these days. You are looking at, uh, let's say, when you do your smoke tests or shakeouts after you finish with unit, and then you do little system testing, then an end-to-end regression, little performance security, and then you're doing the deployment. So if there is a scorecard, let's say an app is scored at 85% earlier, with AI's assistance, I think the expectation would go to 95%. An expectation, a benchmark, a kind of guideline. Otherwise, what is the whole point of investing into a new technology concept, though it is very hyped across in the world? Unless it makes sense for our teams and organizations, we cannot do much. So that being the ground rule, let's talk about AI in general. But meanwhile, any questions, team? How are we doing on time? We about 15 minutes in. I think I'm going a little slow, but I definitely want to make sure that we are well poised to where we're getting. Feel free to stop me at any time, please. I'm seeing the chat in the other window, so if there are any questions, I can handle there. But let's talk about AI in general, team. What's happening with artificial intelligence? Uh, the three words you got to remember: AI, automation, and analytics. All right. Every software test engineer who's gone through test automation, either as a training or you've got enough significant work X, you are looking at uh, this center portion being well covered. But then what we have always missed or haven't focused, which that's my general observation, there's a lot we do in test automation, but we do not do measurement. We do not look at what is the result, what is the output, how can we see if the previous release to this release has there been a significant improvement. This becomes important, team. So I believe we know automation, and that's a great head start. Because what will AI do in future? Its focus is to create something that is a human task now is better automated, or better assistance to humans. Why is that needed? All these 5 points that I wrote earlier, those become our expectations, our guiding blocks. There are things like that we will know and we will go through in this training, which is something like Gen AI and those concepts. We will also look at what LLMs are, large language models, and how they work with different agents. The most famous Chat GPT and a few other solutions similar to it that kept coming up in the market. All of the solutions fundamentally are like your Gemini, your Llama 3, BERT, are giving you a way to be able to do something called as prompt engineering, and how we can seek the perfect exact information or data, or what we can call as analytics, also something we can consume at the end as we use. So one fundamental I'm sorry about that. One fundamental um, thing that you need to break free from is there are AI builders, or let's say even developers, and there are AI users team. Okay, so you have to figure out that how long would it take for me to, number one, become an AI user. You could always get into the building zone at a later point, team. You do not have to jump into it unless you're already doing it. So do not pressurize yourself by saying there's too much to learn. Good awareness of these solutions becomes easy. As you do it, which would take about 3 to 4 months just to make sure that this current course content is established, you can then start exploring more towards how do I build my own agents or LLMs, or how do I create my own framework within my organization that can use a custom LLM for us. So all this would come into place only after we master the first portion, team. Now, what else are we going to do within the world of AI? Um, there are transformers of how the journey takes us, because there's constant improvements, team, that is happening. There is language chain, there's um, machine learning and data sciences, or statistical models that become important. And not that, like I was mentioning, that any of this um, is, how do I say that? Okay, again, we're not trying to become an expert at each of them, team. That's a long journey. It might easily take 6 months to a year to build all of this. But being aware and what they mean is critical, and that is what we will cover in this session. All right. We will look at, in general, a few things like where is NLP, where does that come into place, computer vision, and how we're trying to simulate what computer does. Deep learning, where does that get applied? Um, Yeah, and a lot about agents, team, how agents are used for us and how we can build agents to do part of our work. But under prompt engineering, there are a lot of things. There are methodologies that we will go to, there are frameworks, there are models, and we are not necessarily building new LLMs, but we need to be aware of where that will get applied to us. So when it comes to AI in QA/QE, what is it that we're talking about? You're talking about all the human tasks, and can we automate it? And so automate and autonomous, what is the primary difference, team? Automation is, you see in a manual process, you have done that human way step by step, you've documented those, and then you write a script or a smart algorithm to make that whenever you require. But these are self-learning, self-improving systems. So whatever you will do using the technologies of AI in the future for software testing have to also be self-learning and self-improving. In which areas? Right from how we do documentation, things like I want assistance in test plan, a strategy. I want assistance in maybe even scenarios, and what kind of a scenarios I need to run depending on the application. So if I've worked on multiple UI based, API based backend or database applications, data intense applications over a period of time, then I'm aware of various types of scenarios because that is my human expertise that is built. But with this AI systems that would help us in fact, even in the current world, there's so many tools like Apply tools, Mabel, Tricentis, TestIM, AskUI, and a bunch of about 50, 60 that I've listed down during my research, which are already showing a lot of areas where AI is being used within their products and solutions. So it can do things like around documentation, it can do things around integration with agile platforms. When I say agile platforms, it's just not, and I'm using a wider way of agile team. We're talking things like your Git, your Jira, your Jenkins, and are we in sync with all of these test frameworks and so on? Is AI going to come in and replace your existing test automation frameworks and all the scripts and codes you have done? Not necessarily, but it might constantly look at how to improve your existing code. Because at the end of it, we want defects to be handled more proactively, be able to predict uh, the level of failures that can occur, be able to self correct or self heal before it does another round of execution. Overall, we want our traceability and expectations of defects to improve. When I say expectation, I don't mean that quantity of defects, but how defects are handled within any product cycle. This is very important, team. So we would learn at depth some of these areas where AI tools can be applied. To do this, we might use, there are about 50 QA, software testing, and automation related tools that have already started making good inroads in AI space. Are we going to go about all of those tools? We cannot. But can we take the top 5 tools and try and play around with them and see how they're used? Absolutely, yes. Apart from the QA QE industry of AI, there is also the regular AI in general that is applicable for any given industry. Even that we need to go in and make sure that we use. So by the end of it, I'll come to your expectations from future quality professionals. What else can we do? Anyone suggest what are the other things where AI you believe can help us as a software test engineer? Test data management, being able to create sets of valid test data for each run. What typically happens is your code, your blocks of push that you're doing at a code level for the application is going in through multiple servers. And if they have to be running, so at a unit test level, my test data set is different. At a system test level, it's a totally different test data, or a performance or security is different test data. So depending on the box under which this application is being hosted and executing, your test data changes. There could be some common areas and there could be some new set of data that that specific environment requires. These are human, sometimes very intense activities, team, what we're talking about. We need to be able to see how we can use AI solutions to improve each and every one of this. Even things like uh, scriptless, or what we can call as low code, no code test scripts or test artifacts. And these have to be built automatically, maybe based on our Jira stories. It takes a look at what did we write, what is our acceptance criteria, and that becomes an important entry into what kind of test scenarios I'll write. What is the test data that will get associated? In starting from our day one, which will be in a day or two, we'll start using some of these existing LLMs team to help us with what we can give as an input to these systems and what we will get as an output. So I could get a very large document with images and representations like test plan strategy, or very specific where I say, for this login scenario, will you be able to show me a Selenium script or a Karate script or a Cucumber script? Can you generate that for me and give that? And yes, it would. You have to, and let's go towards the expectations team. First thing is, coding is necessary. There's no question. You will go back or relearn or freshly run Python. Python has a lot of capabilities and is continuing to grow popular. There are other languages like Ruby and so on that also pick up, but for our training purpose, we will focus on Python. And sometimes we're just AI users. We don't need to do hard level of coding, but then when we want to build our own bots for testing, test automation bots, we will use that. Uh, 1 second, there's some questions. Any questions meanwhile, team? While we are about 25 minutes into the session, you can use the chat box. Yes, Yogita, you're right. You put it in the right place. If you have a question, you can reach me there. I'll just go through quickly a few more points, team, that I thought I'll put together. You will be able to use AI for your regular QA QE activities. It's not that every day you're going to sit and build new solutions. Very critical to understand how we put it into daily use. And that makes a big calling to your career team. So just imagine your profile having a list of AI solutions and what you did within QE space. This will go very, very well in the future. If I have a resume, let's say with 5 years or 10 years experience, but I do not have any of this latest trendy words with confidence that I can put in my profile or CV, then I'm really lacking. I don't think we will even get an interview call, team. So understanding the solutions, having the capability or confidence to put them into your profile, and socially be able to speak about it, that is important, team. It's a 4 months program, about 3.5, 4 months. We will do about 25, 30 hours each month. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to learn, team. And please remember, it is not necessary that we all master things the first time. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of members who will repeat this batch a couple of times. If you're an yearly member, you can repeat it as many times as you want within that year, but learn it again, relearn it again, team. So even Python, when you do it next time again in a fresh batch with me, you'll see that I'm exploring more latest technology and coding. Let's talk about more things that we will achieve. Also to the fact that AI can help in your career growth. So right from, hey, tell me what kind of if I'm a software test engineer with, let's say, 15 years experience, what is the best way to look for a job change, which is locally here or work from home? And being able to use these tools for our own internal career growth or CV preps or guidance, this will be something that you will carry as well, team. You need to learn a lot of ways where AI can help you, not just within the QA space, but within your overall career as well. And there is a lot of AI that happens as iterations or increments. So it is a journey and it is never going to have an end, team. Just like software testing, we did never realize that we will get to that level of automation capability. But now we've we've reached that benchmark. Now it is AI. So there's a lot that will happen constantly. So there's a constant learning curve. Once you have a set of tools, once you've learned what you can use within QA, QE for AI, you'll constantly have new tools coming your way, team. It is either driven by your organization or it is sometimes driven by your own friend circle and so on. I'll come to some of the questions that are in the chat. And so your overall awareness is very important, team. So, and that is where your awareness of, oh, you know what, I know this, there's this tool. Why don't we try this solution which will help us better? Or you see something in the news and come up and try and experiment around. There's a lot you have to learn about prompting and how we rightly ask questions, team. Asking the right stuff to get the right results. Sorry. So the reason I say prompting is even without AI, when we just had Google search engine, the way you ask that question decides a lot as to what kind of a search results we would get. So your quality of writing the right message and passing it to Google search engine was critical then. Within this current artificially grown LLMs, you ask the same question 3 times and it might give you a different answer each time. I've not opened any of these LLMs today in this session, but we will. And you'll notice that you cannot take everything at the face value. You might have to slowly build the trust. And unless you get better at prompting, you won't be able to use any of these things, team. Prompting is nothing but asking the right stuff in a way that these systems can give you the right results. Otherwise, you will go all over the place. And if you accidentally submit something with bad output without your review, one of the things that your teams will look at is say that, oh, you've used AI to come up with this, so you don't have your own creativity that is inbuilt to you. That should not happen, team. You should be able to build the right outcomes out of it. What is optional, like I was saying, team, earlier? Sorry. Another 5 minutes, I can start taking questions. I also have some poll questions that I wanted to get your inputs from. Um, Optional is where I'm not putting pressure, is you become an expert AI engineer. So a pure AI engineer has to go through a lot of more rigorous training, team. But yes, Python should be learned. Uh, we don't know to what extent you need to learn Python, but at any point you want to be able to play around a little bit more than what is provided out of the box, you'll need your coding behind it. So, and Python is very, very easy, team. Fundamentals of it and how we're going to use Python, not only for this, but we'll also talk about UI testing, API testing, database related testing or data side of testing, performance, security. So even we've done a lot of trainings under Java, Python, C Sharp, and so on. This program, let's focus purely on Python. So even if you're someone who's got basic knowledge, we will revamp the whole structure of it. We'll start with a good summary on the fundamentals and start looking at UI API data test automation using Python. So are we going to do an extended sessions on the test automation? Not necessarily, but we will definitely recover a lot of these areas. What else did I want to say? And what you also should have done by the end of it is uh, executed 2-3 projects, team, within by using AI for your QA needs. That once it goes into your confidence level as one of your capabilities. It's very easy when you put it then to put it onto a profile and say that, you know what, this is what I've learned. There are things around uh, PII, which is your confidentiality information or your health information, security, illegal ethics behind AI. We will explore them as we talk about general AI and how it is used. Specifically with QA/QE, you will want to do a few projects, team. That's about what I wanted to show, what's coming in. Um, we will go through some of a list of, okay, yeah, I didn't write that, of top 5 AI tools from the market. Get good hands on. So there are solutions like your Selenium, Cucumber, Karate, which is still to large extent free source or open source. That will give you all the capability to do coding, but there are private third-party tools which are software as a service, either self-hosted or deployed on our end. Those are the tools that we will need to learn as well, team, because that comes with a set of package and features that is AI related. So that is when you'll work on these projects and be able to put that on your profile. There's a lot under prompting that we will learn, like different frameworks of prompting, like SWOT, STAR, CLEAR, how we do things like zero shot, few shot, precision prompting, or role-based prompting. So we will explore those, team. And as we explore each and everything, they'll go in parallel. We'll improve little prompting, we'll improve little AI exposure, and so on. And from a program structure theme, I'll keep it very short. So course content is something we will continue to evolve as we grow, but at the high level, what you see is what we're getting. Schedule, it's 1 hour, Monday through Friday at the moment. We might do an additional hour for people who are actively having more time on hand and would want to do some project work. Videos, live projects. So whatever we do will also be hosted as a video. So if you're someone having to miss out on some of the sessions, you could as well watch a video later and try and catch up. Live is good, team. It gives you some kind of a rhythm, some kind of a structure and discipline, saying that, oh, I have the schedule, and we go through that schedule. So even if you're not able to finish the batch completely, just listen in, just try and see what's happening. Second batch, you can always go deeper, spend more time. But be involved, be present. Do not let this opportunity go, and do not feel that, oh, you know what, this will be too much for me to handle. We will work on projects, team, and I'll also do a lot of career guidance that we do as part of JPAC. So that way you're well equipped and you have some good um, opportunities coming your way as you get into the futuristic market. Few poll questions, only 3 in fact. I'll quickly launch them. It should be on your screen now. There's some members have issues with the timings of the training program. At the moment, like I mentioned, it is 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific. Um, but let's see if we could change that. Let me know what your choices are. This is fundamentally the most convenient time for global audience, people in West Coast, East Coast, UK, Europe, a little too late night, but for India, Southeast Asia, and so on, that's another, again, a good time. Even Australia, New Zealand is a good time. So team, I'm looking at the responses. I've got almost 76% votes in. I'm going to close it and share the result on the chat. On the screen, you could probably see it. We've got about 21% of you who's currently not in QA/QE. 0% trained but no work experience. That is good. That means that either you have work experience or you're already in the industry to a large extent. 57% working in QA/QE, 21%. See, that is very interesting. The last one in yellow, working in QA/QE with alignment towards AI. So there's already a mandate or there's already some progress happening at your workplace that is making you say that, oh, you know what, I've been doing some work in here in the in this space. Very nice, very interesting team. As it goes along, would love to hear from you what you're working on. Please do bring your experiences onto our table, share with us as we go further. It'll be nice to hear from the members. Another poll question, team. Related or an upgraded question from previous. So the same one. Another question. Okay. Anything playwright related? Yes. Lakshmi will also do playwright. Let me make sure I list down some of those too. If if, um, if it is for any reason that we are unable to squeeze any tool, that only means that it will come right after. So we will constantly keep adding new content on this area team. A lot of tools are there. While you're doing the poll, I'm also taking some questions. Just curious, I heard that prompt engineering will be a next hot job. Is that true? If yes, learning this course would also prepare for above role. That is right. And if you see, I'm giving a lot of special attention to this prompt engineering and how we build agents around it. So if we are a team of members, if all of us do a similar structured way of prompting, then we're gonna get consistently similar results, which is good. Otherwise, in a team of 5, we don't want one person to be getting different results, the other, so on. So that standardization is important, team. So how a human gives instructions, prompts the system to respond back will be very critical. That is what end of the day means, that how we're using AI tools to achieve that. Closing this poll and sharing the results. So are you in AI? So about more than half of you are not in AI team, but there's a small portion who's learned basic know-how and using few AI solutions. I see 0% on actively working on AI solutions. When I say actively, yeah, I think the intent is most of the day is going into that side. Hide this and one more poll. And team, if you need to reach out, I should be available after this session on that US number 314-827-5272. You can always speak to me on it or drop an email. I've come back with a better model on how we can do it. I've been not active in the training space for almost 3-4 years as I went back into the market to really evaluate what is happening there. So any emails that you send, we will respond back. We can have a conversation. What are the top 5 most AI tools you recommend? So there are AI tools in general that applies for all industries, and then AI tools specifically for our QA industry. That is something we will explore around the day 3 time frame, team, when we do basic steps on it and so on. I'll show you that list of those tools when we get there. But primarily, you're looking at tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama 3, BERT, Claudia, Perplexity. Some of these tools are and there are so many new LLMs that are coming up each day. It's a very interesting world, and that is where we'll be very focused on what and how we're approaching. So that way we don't deviate from our task. Last poll, team, and I've got the responses for it. Primarily, how do you foresee your career? And uh, just because at any time, team, let's say if that it is not in our comfort zone, we always have that fear factor. So if it is scary, that is scary, no problem, but there's nothing to be wrong. That is how we humans as a species are the most adaptable ones on planet Earth. And for us within IT, it becomes even more important that we constantly adapt. So when we are outside, it looks scary, but when you put your feet into the water and slowly start kicking it, it becomes simpler, team, and easy. Slowly making baby steps towards AI perfect. I see a good portion there. I also see started to learn the fundamentals. See, that's interesting. A large, well-trained and practicing 7%. So almost about 40 odd percent is already doing it, team. So if you're not in that percentile where the fundamentals are being learned and so on, you'll need to catch up, team. this poll shows it that your counterparts, your peers who are part of this um, um, session today or in future are all trying to make something happen within that. So being that readiness is very critical, team. So this program should guide you there. Even if you are slow learner, it should slowly take you there. Good time for me for live session 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. IST. Please provide your email address. Sure. It's learn@itlearn.com. Let me hide this and come back to the screen. So there are only three details you need for now, team. itlearn.com. Email is learn@itelearn.com. Your memberships, all details are there. I will also send an email to the registrants on the membership. The prices on the membership site will be going up, team. So I will let you know when and how, and you should be able to take your decision. I don't ever force anyone or sell on this side, but I definitely will help you make your decision on what can be done. So I finished the poll. I've explained most of it. We are about done a 45-minute session. Wanted it to be shorter, but I will be seeing you all on day one. This was the orientation session, and day two, where we'll start having an agenda on what we will do. We will do some AI in general activities, and hopefully we'll do AI in QA, QE, and we will start going back to learning Python. So this would be the focus for the next 3 weeks, team. And then we will have a lot more time with other areas. Are there any AI courses on BA side? Oh yes, significant number of courses on the business analyst side. And wherever there is language, English, or learning and documentation involved, AI can assist us significantly. I don't have experience with automation, whether this course helps me to learn automation or course focuses more AI. So this course by itself will not help you master automation, but when you go to itlearn.com, there is enough content for you to prepare on that. We will focus on some new tools, new technologies using Python in test automation to do UI, API, database testing, performance, security, all of these. So that way, we are constantly adding new or increasing our learning portfolio that we have as a video library and so on. Thank you, team. If there are questions, feel free to email, like I mentioned, or call us. We'll be glad. And leave us a voicemail if we missed you, write a text message. And yeah, that's about what I had for today. I'll see you in day one. Maybe we'll have a day's break where people get a chance to look at the video and so on, and then we will continue. Yes, I'll share this Word document also. In fact, it'll just be a link that I can share. And as we go through each and every day, there's a lot of content that we'll create, team. I only kept text for now, but we'll start drawing around a little bit as I need to do some more deeper explanations for you all. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate it. And I'll see you back in day one, which will be in a day or two. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye all.